Well, good morning and welcome to OneFremont, our one-stop shop source for all the information you need about Fremont County and Fremont County government. This is the show that your county commissioners have put together to bring this information to you from local and even a little bit of state and federal opinion occasionally that we might have. I'm
Just
Kevin.
Occasionally.
Just occasionally. I'm Kevin Grantham, Commissioner, District 1.
And Debbie Bell, Commissioner, District 2.
Easy for you to say.
Good morning, Dwayne McFall, Commissioner, District 3.
All right.
Good afternoon and good evening.
Good afternoon and
You
good
never know when folks are going to be listening.
Good day.
Exactly. And Happy New Year, because they will be listening at least after January 1st.
Right.
True
We
story.
know that.
It is actually January 12th as we are recording this. So Happy New Year. Hopefully you are having a wonderful 2026 so far. So let's talk about the Broncos. No, just kidding.
Well, everyone else is.
Exactly. I'm a little, my hands are shaking a little bit because I got to get my feel of some NFL playoff football the last couple of days, and there were some exciting matchups. And
Parity has finally happened in the NFL.
there is some parity. So anyway, we don't need to talk about the Broncos. That's everybody's got their own thing on that, and they can read those websites and blogs.
Is that
themselves.
a basketball team?
Yes, it's lacrosse.
Yeah.
Actually.
Lacrosse, okay.
Yeah. It's basketball.
Basketball. Land baseball.
So we do have a lot going on. We do have our first BOCC meeting of the year as of where we sit. And when we sit here right now, it is tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. So if you're listening to this afternoon, it's timely where you can make it to the meeting tomorrow morning. But our first meeting every year is kind of a reorganizational meeting. We have to do a laundry list of things in order to, I don't know, how do you put it, set the table, so to speak, for all the business of the year. And one of those things is we kind of reorganize.
Yeah, easy for you to say.
Easy for me to say. How long has it been since we've done this? We reorganize the chair pro tem, et cetera, for all three of our main groups that the commissioners sit in charge of. The BOCC, of course, and then our Board of Health and our Department of Human Services, Board of Human Services, which we will do actually at the end of the month. But tomorrow, it's the BOCC. And tomorrow we will install Debbie Bell as Empress Supreme of the Board of County Commissioners. Is that what was
Oh,
on
my,
the,
that does sound important.
oh, no. No, that's not what it
That's
said.
not what that said?
That's not
Not
what that said on
quite what
the
it
agenda.
says.
But that is the main thing. And so we do kind of rotate that. We are fortunate in Fremont County that we have a board that is more than happy to rotate such things around and sometimes take the slack off of each other. Thank you both very much. And
Absolutely. Thanks, everybody.
and it's not that way in every county. Let's
Boy, it
just put it
certainly
that
is
way.
not. Yes.
We, of course, hear the stories, but we also have some other stuff. I don't know if you guys want to talk about any of the other exciting things that are happening tomorrow in our Board of County Commissioner meeting.
That is when we also set the official meeting dates, which aren't changing, but we still have to do that. And then we also designate our newspaper, which we only have one choice at this point.
So it's pretty easy.
At this point. And, some counties come across, they don't even have one choice. They have no daily newspapers in their counties, but yet by state law, they have to post their meetings in these publications, which makes them have to post them in a different county, which people don't care about, to be legal. So there's been some talk about trying to get that changed because of the way the world is changing. I mean, things are posted online rather than on a newspaper. And newspapers are are kind of a dying breed. It looks like the newspaper industry would try to tell you different, I'm sure, but as you know, they're getting smaller and smaller. But we will designate that. But we also have official posting spots here in the county and, of course, on our website. And there's a few other things.
Yeah, we do have, actually, we have a whole laundry list, I think, of things that we will be going through tomorrow. We will again designate our county attorney. We will designate our not only our posting places, but we also will be designating our depositories, our official depositories for the year. We just have an entire list of things that we will be going through tomorrow.
Yeah, and this is something that we see like I said, at the first meeting of every year, but it sets the table for us, to do business for the rest of the year. It's sort of like how we finish the year with passing a budget and doing all the appropriations and that laundry list of things we have to do for a budget. All of these things in order make it possible to operate and fund our operations. And the same thing with the first meeting of the year. We do these things so that we can operate and conduct business
In a hopefully organized manner moving forward.
and always in an organized manner.
That's what I meant.
Manner moving forward. Yeah. So the official depositories, the regular meeting schedule. Of note, we do have, I think, one change on there that we put on there up front because we won't have 3 people in the room for the regularly scheduled date that we would have it, the second or fourth Tuesday. I think that's in February.
It is in February.
So if you are a regular attendee or a listener or a viewer of our BOCC meetings, easy for me to say. Is this Monday? Yeah. Then be aware of that, that there will be a change date in February. So, but that'll be on all of our calendars and whatnot. So be aware of that. And again, Commissioner McFall is exactly right on our newspapers. We have the one to choose from. There's always some kind of legislation that is proposed to change that. And
it never gets very far.
It never gets very far because the power of the still existing newspaper groups, they like to squash that stuff. And
you can't blame them, but it does make it hard for our folks that do not get a paper of any kind and want to know where a meeting is posted or something. So.
Right. For their benefit, like the Denver Posts and other bigger ones, they like to keep that under their control so they can continue to get that advertising money from the counties and cities.
It does mean a lot of revenue for them.
It makes a lot of revenue. And
but at what cost to our taxpayers? Because they're the ones who are paying it.
And what cost to many of our rural counties where they don't have those newspapers, as you said, yes. Dwayne. So it's finding that narrow path to some solution is still in front of us. I heard it being talked about even again this year. What are we going to do about this? And I don't know what the answer is going to be, but we have to be able to let some of these smaller counties advertise on some sort of, online
platform or something. I mean, we posted on our Facebook. That's not enough, or not our Facebook, our website.
Yeah.
Which is not an official spot, but it is a good spot.
Right.
And so people can go there and see it.
Right. And that might be the only place that some of these rural counties have. We're fortunate that, obviously if we had, if Pueblo, do they even still have a paper at all?
Yeah, I don't know.
As far as I'm aware, they do.
Okay.
They were having trouble there for a while, I know.
Yeah,
but
I haven't really seen one in a long time, so I'm just really not for sure. Anyway, that used to be distributed quite widely in Fremont County. And that would be another option, possibly, but it depends on circulation. So anyway, that's one of those things coming up, and we'll talk about that some more with some of the happenings that may be coming. What kind of updates do you have, Commissioner Bell, just in general? General updates. New year, new look for a lot of things. We all serve on so many different boards, and we act as the liaison as well between Fremont County and many different organizations. So, we have a lot of
those annual dinners coming up, Fremont Economic Development Corporation, Canyon City Chamber, Royal Gorge Chamber Alliance. Not sure if Florence is putting together a chamber dinner. Haven't heard about that one yet. But a lot of those different things are happening. Boards reorganizing. It's not just this one.
Right.
And yeah, we have a lot of things coming up. So yeah. Next up on my agenda is the National Association of Counties Legislative Conference, which is in February.
Right.
So that's always a really big one. That's an interesting place to go, Washington, D.C., to talk to our legislators about the things that are important to rural Colorado.
Okay.
Yeah.
Lots of stuff happening. You can almost say that in every month we come in here.
Pretty much.
Just so much going on.
Lots of stuff happening.
Commissioner McFall.
Yeah, kind of the same thing. It is a new year, but we still carry on what we've been working on all last year too. I mean, there's a lot of projects that are still happening. We've got an East Main project that's causing us some trouble, but we're going to get that due done to help search and rescue out and our emergency management site out there. That's the ultimate goal, is to give a little more room for search and rescue and let those guys be able to function like they need to be. Other projects going on too that are constant projects, that are continual projects, I'd say, is building maintenance. There's a lot of buildings in the county, and we were fortunate enough to get that ARPA funds a few years ago, which helped us kind of catch up on stuff. Now we just kind of need to maintain on those things. It's a constant deal. Legislative conferences coming up. It is interesting on a federal level of the voice that we do have with National Association of Counties and the steering committees we sit on and serve with, and trying to get that voice to those federal folks to help us out. However, the state of Colorado is not helping us out with that, because some of those funds are being withheld because of what's happening in the state of Colorado. So we need to work on this end as well with the state of Colorado and get those funds, or get the stuff here taken care of, so that we can get those funds passed through from the federal government, because the state obviously doesn't have the money to help fund some of these projects and programs that are happening out there without the federal help. So we need to advocate for that as well.
And the county certainly doesn't have
The
the
county
funds to
certainly
continue
doesn't,
some of
yeah.
those programs without the federal funding.
And I know
behind them.
that just opened a big can, but it is a can that's there, and it's very visible and needs to be dealt with.
Right. Yeah, we're going to have an interesting legislative session coming up here in Colorado. Start talking about SNAP funding and things like that. It's going to be a minefield that we're going to be navigating in order to make sure that we have the funding for that. Speaking of funding, actually, there's a couple or three things I had jotted down, just on a federal level that we might dive into if we had an extra hour and a half. But we do actually locally. One of the things that we are really on the cusp of is getting that drainage fixed out at the airport too.
Mm-hmm.
That's a huge thing that I know you guys were talking about long before I got here, and I think it's been talked about even before Debbie got here. This is something that has been a problem for a long time, and we got the funding to be able to do it.
And by a long time, we mean decades.
It's a long time.
Yes.
Long time.
Ever
long
since
time.
that FBO was built out there, it's flooded very regularly, quite often.
Right.
It rains and it rains, and we may not get rain for the longest time here in Fremont County, but when it does decide to rain, we have sheet flooding, and it floods the airport. And we have reconfigured and rebuilt walls and tried to move water around. It doesn't work. We need a complete remodel for drainage out there. So we've got the plan. We have the ARPA money to get it done, but that means it has to be done this year, because those American Rescue Plan Act funding, that ARPA funding has to be completely expended by the end of the year. So
they're working it. They're already starting to work on it.
Yeah,
So that's a good thing.
It's going to be a big project.
So that's exciting. That's finally getting done, and that's a really good thing. When we're talking about federal funding, this is just I don't even know how much we want to talk about this, honestly, because it doesn't directly affect Fremont County, but the veto of the Arkansas Valley conduit legislation. We went 8 for 8, actually 10 for 10 on our federal delegation voted for this. It went through the House and the Senate in D.C. unscathed, essentially 535 to 0. It wasn't exactly that because there's a couple or three vacant seats, but and then the president vetoed it. This would have completed the pipeline that was approved back in 1962, going down through the lower Arkansas Valley, providing drinking water, regular piped drinking water. They have drinking water. I grew up out there. We had drinking water. We survived. But they tried to sell this as far as having clean drinking water. And there's a lot of upset people in Colorado. There's a lot of upset people in both the Republican and Democrat ranks of our congressional delegation. It's just an interesting dynamic going on right now with Trump and his what is being perceived, at least, as his the comeuppance against Colorado for the governor and whatnot. But we haven't really heard that from the White House. Not really. That's why he vetoed it. I don't know what I actually haven't had this discussion with my colleagues, and so treading into dangerous ground. I'm not sure what their thoughts are on it. But it's not a absolute necessity out there. There are problems if we look at this fiscally. We're looking at a total cost of $1.4 billion to finish a pipeline that will service about 50,000 people. That's going to be roughly, I'm trying to scan through my notes here and see what that cost is. $40,000 per home is what I'm seeing. $28,000 per person. $28,000 per person is what it is. That's a lot of infrastructure cost to supply water, cleaner water, but not the only water that they have down there. Anyway, there are fiscal reasons not to go through with this, but the White House hasn't said that either.
They haven't. I think, just to jump in here for a second, I think there's other factors that you have to be worried about as well. These cities in Colorado are growing exponentially and buying up water from places, and a lot of it is in eastern Colorado where this conduit is going through. So yes, they do have water right now. They do have wells. Those wells could get depleted if they keep squandering the water away from those folks.
Yeah.
And eventually that may be all they have is what's coming down that pipeline.
Right.
So right now, yeah, they're okay.
Right.
But you got to think about that as well. Yeah, why Trump did that, I am not sure. I haven't been able to find that yet because it's not been said yet.
Right.
I think for me, Commissioner Grantham, you spoke about the interesting dynamics. And for me, the most interesting dynamic is that our entire congressional delegation was able to agree on one thing.
Yeah.
I think that's a first. I mean, I really do. I think that's a first. And to know that not only did Colorado's entire delegation say yes, but it just floated through the House, it floated through the Senate, and then it came to a screeching halt on the president's desk. And so the dynamics of that for me are really interesting, because how can everyone else see this as a good thing, and then one person says nope, and in the end that's the one person whose signature matters?
Which kind of brings me to my questions on it. Everybody agreed on it, but what exactly were they agreeing?
What were they agreeing
to being done? And what was the rationale behind it? Because if the rationale behind it was clean water, it's not like they don't have clean water. I think to your point, it might be in jeopardy in the future,
Right.
Because if they deplete the water source in those wells, I think of where I grew up in Crowley County. We don't have river water, like Canyon City and Florence has Arkansas River water that is treated and piped to the residents. They have deep wells up north that they pipe down into the Highway 96 corridor there throughout the county. and some have wells that are outside of that. But it's hard water, but it is water, and it is drinkable to some that grew up with it.
Well, the other interesting part of this for me is this is a project 64 years in the making.
Yeah,
So the question becomes, is it still relevant?
right.
I don't know. Is it still needed and necessary? I don't know. That's a lot of money. I mean, that is a lot of money to be sinking into this project for that few people.
Right. It's and I guess I would venture a guess that back in 1962 when it was first approved, it was probably being looked at for a whole lot more folks than 50,000. Because there was a lot more population down there back in the late 50s, early 60s. Ordway has about, I think, 800 people now. It was about 1,000 when I grew up there. But it was probably up over 2,000, 2,500 back in the late 50s, early 60s, back when it was a thriving farming community. It had 2 or 3 banks, 2 or 3 grocery stores.
Yeah.
All those little towns, I believe, were like that. Yeah.
There were. You can see it when you drive through. You can see all the old buildings that are boarded up. But anyway, we won't solve any of that issue here. But it's interesting.
We can ask the question.
Exactly. It's interesting that Congresswoman Boebert is so out in front on this, and all of our Republican delegation. Of course, the Democrats in our congressional delegation are using this as an opportunity to lambaste the president. And I hear Boebert and Evans and Hurd and Crank talking about solutions. How do we talk to the White House on this? Let's talk about this.
Get through it. Yeah.
Others are throwing bombs. Anyway, it's a little frustrating. I'm still not convinced one way or the other on it because I know people down in the valley that are against it and agree with the president. We don't need this. And so why are we spending this kind of dollar on a piece of infrastructure that we don't need? And so to be continued. To be continued. Well, again, welcome to our Leering Center here in Fremont. I mean, Learning Center of OneFremont. You all know what I'm referring to. 100 years from now, people are going to find this in some cave in an archive, and they're going to go, "Oh, what? What's a Leering Center?"
Why were they leering at people?
Trust me, it's funny.
Hey, speaking of 100 years, we're coming up on 150 years.
Oh, that is good. Yes.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be a pretty interesting year of what happens around the state for the 150 and 250th year of the country. So we've got some ideas that are ordered. and,
On order, yes.
And we're going to take place here in the county building as well.
Yeah, just be aware of everything going around the state, around the nation. But Colorado also having its 150th, which is the sesquicentennial, and the 250th of the nation, which is the
You should have given me more.
Some other
semi-quincentennial. Semi-quincentennial. That just doesn't roll off the tongue.
Which is going to be a big celebration on the 4th of July for that. But I think all year long it's kind of interesting to think that it's here, wherever it was. Yeah.
Yeah, so we're going to have our own little internal celebration year long. We still got Christmas decorations up here in the Fremont County building, but those are going to be coming down here in the next week or so, and then we are going to have something else over the course of the next 2 or 3 weeks, probably, actually 3 or 4 weeks, going up here in the county building. So not going to give that away. Just please be aware in February, come on in and enjoy the display.
But other events around the county, I mean, our Heritage and those groups are planning stuff to happen throughout the year because of the anniversaries. And it's going to be kind of interesting to see what happens and what they come up with and how we can celebrate it.
For sure.
The building is going to be beautiful. Installation may take a hot minute.
It may.
But it will be worth it.
And to be fair, we are asking quite a bit of our facilities crew to make this happen, but we're going to leave those decorations up for a while.
And we asked a lot of them when we decided we wanted new Christmas decorations here as well. And look at the job they did with that.
Yeah.
Absolutely incredible.
It's fantastic.
So we expect nothing less. And
So-
I think it will be something that all of Fremont County can be proud of.
Yep, for sure. And trivia time, since we're celebrating on July 4th, the 250th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence and the birth of our nation, what is the date of statehood?
Is it Colorado Day, August 1st?
August 1st, 1876. August 1st. All right, you get the gold star today.
August
Fine.
1st.
Well done, Commissioner McFall.
As he looks on his
Looking at something else on my phone, but
So maybe just kind of wrap up as far as talking about the state, because we got many things that we're going to be dealing with. We got wolf issues still in this state that we're going to be trying to navigate through. What are you guys hearing as far as what might be on the docket for legislation that we have to be aware of, that our Fremont County residents need to be ready to jump in the fray and testify on, against, or for?
Well, I'm going to begin by saying be afraid. Be very afraid. There hasn't been a lot of legislation in the last decade or so,
Yeah.
I think, that Fremont County would have a lot to be proud of as a Coloradan. And so I can't say I'm that familiar with what's coming up this year. I haven't really had a conversation with any of our legislators to find out what they're trying to move forth. But I know that as Republican legislators, even taking that on and trying to get something out there that's going to pass is a very daunting task.
Right.
So,
Especially in this environment.
yes.
You hearing anything out there?
yeah, so yes, some of it is a continuation of what's been happening in the last few years, and that's taking local control away from local governments, meaning us, cities. They're still doing the best they can to completely have authority over building codes, anything to do with housing and stuff, thinking it's going to make it affordable. While on the other hand, adding stipulations to a home that makes it more expensive. So it just doesn't make sense what they're doing to me. On one hand, we've got to use certain materials, we've got to do it a certain way, which makes it more expensive. But yeah, we're working on a quote unquote affordable housing. So there is more stuff coming from that. I'm not sure how that's going to play out. There is some more stuff. The Colorado outdoor strategy that was passed a few years ago, which is to help recreation on public lands and stuff. There's legislation, introduced for that, or going to be introduced for that on Wednesday. Had a meeting on that one Friday, a very long, robust conversation with legislation that we don't need. There's no reason for this legislation. What they're trying to do with Parks and Wildlife, they can already do. So that's the frustrating part of some of this legislation that's coming forward too that I've heard, is it just adds another layer of bureaucracy that we do not need.
Right.
And so it'll be interesting to see what happens, but I think we all need to have a heads up because it's going to affect us all.
And we will do our best to keep you informed on such things, because we do that through this. We do that at our BOCC meetings during the legislative session, when we shout out our woes over what is happening to us. And I can't remember the last time I said for us when it's coming from Denver. The one thing I'm hearing about is the rehash, the resurrection of the Chris Hansen land use siting bill, the takeover, as you were talking about, Dwayne, about the local control. We just went through a massive process here in Fremont County to make sure that our folks are protected from state interference in siting issues when it comes to renewable energy platforms and fields, et cetera. 1041 powers. And we went through our planning and zoning department went through a significant process, and then our planning commission and us and
Our attorneys.
our attorneys for sure, to make sure that we put that hedge around Fremont County and have the ability to keep our voice and local control. Well, this resurrection of this bill from several years ago, not too many years ago, 3 maybe years ago, on this energy siting bill, they're talking about bringing that back, which would completely undermine everything we did to protect ourselves from the state in the 1041 powers.
And I just want to point out, it's not that we're against siting these facilities. It's protecting those that are around where they want to site them. And so that's what the 1041 powers do, give us the chance to have a seat at the table and say, no, hold on a minute. These people that live right here don't need that in their backyard, however that may be.
Right.
With this bill that you're talking about, it doesn't matter what we say. They're going to come in, that company come in and build it tomorrow, and we can't stop them.
And we need to be able to protect the neighbors of these properties with proper public hearings, et cetera, getting community concerns. Of note, it is not Fremont County. It is not the conservative rural red counties that are the hindrance to the siting of these kind of facilities. If you want to look around this entire state, 64 counties, and who has the most renewable energy, whether it's a solar field, whether it is windmills, go to Weld County. Also the highest energy producer when it comes to oil and gas.
Exactly.
So you want to look at a red county, there it is. Fremont County has not said no to any of these, but we do want the say for all of our citizens on requirements and setbacks and all those things.
And being very clear, we walked into this 1041 process with our eyes open. We knew the state was talking about taking it away, and yet we chose to do this anyway in the ultimate hope and our very best efforts to protect our citizens.
Right.
So we knew what could be coming down the pike. We knew that the state could be looking eventually at taking away all 1041 powers from every county that put them in place. And yet, with the ultimate hope that we could possibly have, and believing in the goodness of our legislators, we shall see eventually how misplaced that hope was. But we have them in place. And so we also think that there's a possibility that they stop new 1041s from going into place, but allowing some sort of grandfathering with those that are already there. And so that, I think, was one of our biggest impetus pushes to get our own 1041s into place.
Right.
Well, the 1041s are in statute, right? They passed these back in 1974, I believe it was.
Something like
so.
that, yeah.
Which allowed local governments, county governments, to come up with these 1041 powers to give them a seat at the table, no matter what was happening. And there's different functions, and it's anything of state interest.
Right.
Well, power is definitely state interest.
And that's a great point, because making sure that the county, the local government, has a say in something that is of statewide interest, which means this is something that the state typically regulates on their own. The
Right.
1041 powers granted counties and local government the ability to say, hey, wait a second. Now, the idea that they're going to take away those abilities for counties, they are taking away the ability for local government to have a say in how things are done in their locality. That should just, if you don't react to that, at least with some, give me a word, Madam Thesaurus. Trepidation and anger.
Anger?
There's some mixture there.
Yes.
It's got to upset you a little bit that they are actively looking to take away your voice through your elected representatives.
So I've often thought, when we have this conversation about 1041s, how different did our legislature look back then? If that particular legislature in 1974
yeah.
was willing and interested to say, yes, we want counties to participate. Right. We want to give counties local control. We want counties to be able to mandate and dictate what happens or does not happen in their own county.
Right.
the total and complete opposite of what is happening today when they are mandating everything. They are taking away all of our local control. In today's environment, even the thought of the state giving 1041 powers to counties is laughable.
It's interesting because we don't even have to go back to 1974 because we look at this current governor who thumbs his nose at local control in every legislative session.
Over and over again.
We just have to go back to his predecessor, at least then Governor Hickenlooper, had some local government experience. He was the mayor of Denver, and at least talked a good game when it came to local control and unfunded mandates and things like that. And one of his first executive orders, I shouldn't talk too much about the senator, but one of his first executive orders back in 2011 was reemphasizing that no unfunded mandates portion of statute, which has summarily been dismissed by this current legislature and governor.
We currently have over 41 of those in our county.
Yes. So as of Wednesday morning, ladies and gentlemen, the legislative session will be back. The legislature will be back. Hold on to your wallets and be aware of what is going on and what is happening in our state legislature. And we will do our best to keep you informed on that as well. Any closing thoughts?
Be afraid. Be very afraid.
I will say, though, that every Thursday, and not every Thursday and Friday, every Friday, but some Thursdays and Fridays throughout the session, we are involved through Colorado Counties Incorporated, discussing bills with Democrat and Republican commissioners, and we do take a stance on those, which sometimes do make a difference to those senators or representatives that are running those bills.
Right.
And it's nice when we get a bipartisan, we always get a bipartisan answer on our votes on those, whether we support it or not. So it does tell you that everything they're doing up there is also not acceptable in Democrat as well as Republican counties.
Right.
So, yeah, we'll be watching all of those.
Right. Yeah, we do that ourselves. We do that through CCI and on a federal level through NACO and some of those things like that. So through our steering committees. So we will be doing our darndest to keep up with all of that for you. And we have great staff up there at CCI that has to pour through these things. God help them.
They're a different breed. I will
that.
tell you, they are a different breed because they love what they do.
They do. And they do a great job.
They
and
do.
We really appreciate them. Well, the only other thing, did you have anything else? The only other thing I would add, just as we're parting shots here, we're coming up on the political season. We have caucuses and assemblies coming up. If you're a Republican or a Democrat here in Fremont County or across the state, please be aware of that as March, I think for Republicans. I don't know about for Democrats. You can check with our local Democrat Party to see what their dates are. I think our caucuses are March 7th, and then all the assemblies are after that on each of the weekends after that. So please participate. Please get out and I was going to say enjoy. But get out there and participate in your local party caucuses, and then eventually in the primary in June, and then the general election in November, and make your voice heard through the ballot box.
I would add to that, Mr. Chair, that
Yes.
the county caucus system really is the most grass level roots of any political process that you can ever be involved in.
Right.
People talk about how, I can't make a difference. I only have one vote. If you want to make a difference, get to your caucus, because that is the biggest difference you will ever make in the political leanings or the way that your county looks
Right.
in the political sense.
Yes.
Get to
is,
that caucus.
That is, if you've never participated in it, check with your party of choice that you are registered with and see what the process is and see what it's like if you come from another state that is a primary only state. The caucus system is a whole different animal. And it would behoove you to learn a little bit about it and then join in and participate in the process. It can be fun. It can be frustrating. It can be maddening. But it's important.
But it can also be really exciting.
It can be. It can be. So get out there and enjoy that and participate. And for OneFremont, that is our message for today. We do hope that you have had a happy new year so far and continue to have a happy new year. And hopefully we'll get some more moisture here, because I don't remember if so-and-so actually mentioned the fire danger.
Today, no.
What?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Waiting for sign off.
Not yet.
Only you can be in fires.
Well, we really appreciate you folks and listening to this and listening to us drone on. And so thank you all for joining us. And if you have any questions or concerns, please feel free to call us, visit our website, and get the information you need and are wanting. So for OneFremont in Fremont County, this is Kevin Grantham, Commissioner District 1, signing off.
Debbie Bell, Commissioner District 2.
Dwayne McFall, Commissioner District 3. Be safe.